The Vikings locked in another core piece of their defensive foundation last week by inking pass rusher Danielle Hunter to a 5-year, $72 million contract extension. It's a well-earned reward. Hunter has racked up 25.5 sacks in threes, and he finished in the top 10 in pressures among 4 to 3 defensive ends in each of the last 2 years. The size of the deal, along with the urgency at which the Vikings got it done, underscores Hunter's status as one of the league's fastest rising stars, and one of its best pass rushers under the age of 26. Minnesota's precocious edge defender can't rest on his laurels, though, or all those enormous new paychecks, if he wants to hold on to his place on that list. A handful of other burgeoning young sack producers across the league will head into 2018 with the talent, skill set, and opportunity to take Hunter's place. Let's take a quick look at the numbers and some tape and break down which players ages 25 or younger could make up the NFL's newest generation of superstar pass rushers. Leaders of the pack to Joey Bosa, Chargers 22. This one's a gimme, because let's be honest, Bosa's already established himself as a bona fide superstar. He had his game jersey sent to the Pro Football Hall of Fame after becoming the first player in league history to notch 19 sacks through his first 20 games, and his 23 career sacks through 28 games rank 8th most all-time. He finished 7th in the league last year with 12.5 sacks, adding 4 forced fumbles, and he ranked 3rd among 4 to 3 defensive ends in both pressures 75 and quarterback hurries 51, per Pro Football Focus. Bosa has it all: elite size, 6'5", 280 pounds to go with power, quickness, agility, and a solid repertoire of pass rush moves. And 2 months before the starts, Bosa already looks like an early favorite for the 2018 Defensive Player of the Year award. OLB, Jadeveon Clowney, Texans 25. Clowney may not have lived up to the massive hype he carried into the 2014 draft, where he was taken first overall, but HES developed into an incredibly disruptive player nonetheless. He notched 9.5 sacks, 64 pressures, tied for 6th among 3 to 4 OLBs, and 2 forced fumbles last year, and he basically lived in opposing backfields, racking up 21 tackles for loss, second most in the league. The 6'5", 270-pound playmaker does a little bit of everything on the Texans' defensive front because of his rare combination of length, athleticism, and strength. Clowney has increased his sack total in each of the last 3s, and this year, playing alongside a healthy J.J. Watt and Whitney Mercilus, he could reach double digits for the first time in his career. That'd certainly help him earn a major contract extension with Houston or big money on the open market. Almost famous to Yannick Ngakoue, Jaguars 23. Ngakoue toiled in the shadow of a variety of bigger stars like Calais Campbell and Malik Jackson during his first 2 years in Jacksonville, quietly totaling 20 sacks in 32 career games with a combined 10 forced fumbles. He pairs an explosive first step with the ability to turn the corner and has developed a very effective cross-chop move to get past opposing tackles. Ngakoue's still playing on a star-studded defensive line, but if he keeps producing like he has in his first 2 years, it's going to be pretty tough to continue to underrate the third-year pro. DeForest Buckner, 49ers 24. Buckner finished second among defensive tackles in pressures last year, 52, per PFF, while notching 3 sacks, 19 quarterback hits tops at the position, and 29 quarterback hurries 6th. At 6'7", 300 pounds, there are few linemen with a better combination of length and first-step speed at the snap. As offensive linemen look to grab hold of Buckner, he often leaves them lunging, drawing on his excellent agility to sideswipe the block and move upfield. Oh, and HES got a pretty devastating arm-over-swim move too. Chris Jones, Chiefs 24. Maybe it's because of his exceedingly generic name, but Jones still doesn't get the hype he deserves. He posted 6.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 7 pass deflections, and an interception for the Chiefs last year, giving the team a pass-rushing boost it badly needed. Jones was especially effective late in the when defensive coordinator Bob Sutton moved the big defensive lineman around more frequently, even playing him on the edge at times. After losing 25 pounds this offseason, HES now leaner and ready to wreak havoc from every spot on the Chiefs' defensive line in 2018. OLB Preston Smith, Redskins 25. Smith's flown under a lot of fans' radars despite 3 years of solid production, including 20.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 10 passes defended, and 3 picks in 48 career games for the Redskins. He recorded 8 sacks last year and finished first in pressure rate among defenders with 200-plus pass rush plays, using his explosiveness off the edge, skill with the long arm move, and the ability to swat away block attempts to get to the quarterback. Smith notched 14 quarterback hits last year, per PFF, which tied with Clowney for second behind Arizona's Chandler Jones among 3 to 4 outside linebackers. If he can turn a few more of those hits into sacks, he'll make a big jump in national name recognition. Ready to break out: DeCarl Lawson, Bengals 23, with Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, and Michael Johnson all set to enter contract years. The future of the Bengals pass rush is in limbo. But regardless of what happens with that veteran trio, the team knows it's got Lawson waiting to grab hold of the baton. With a quick first step, strength to fight through blocks, and the motor to finish, the Auburn product racked up 8.5 sacks in his rookie campaign while collecting 59 pressures, good for 8th among all 3 to 4 linebackers, per PFF. DeMatt Ioannidis, Redskins 24 first. Let's just start with this, now onto the stats. In just his second last year, Ioannidis grabbed 4.5 sacks and a forced fumble, racking up 46 pressures, tied for 5th among 3 to 4 ends in 2017. Don't be surprised if you hear his name called a lot more next. Derek Barnett, Eagles 22. Barnett made the most of limited opportunities as a rookie, and he still managed to record 5 sacks and a forced fumble while playing in a rotation behind Brandon Graham, Chris Long, and Vinny Curry. Barnett's going to have to fight for snaps again in 2018, but Curry's gone and Long and Bennett aren't getting any younger. Expect his production to increase along with his role in the pass rush rotation. OLB Leonard Floyd, Bears 25, the 6'6", 251-pounder missed chunks of his first two injury but he still recorded 11.5 sacks in his first 22 games and mixed in a pair of safeties along the way. Now, Floyd heads into his third with plenty of pressure on his shoulders as the team's top only real edge rusher. A healthy Floyd has the talent to explode in 2018, and that's something the Bears' depleted edge rushing group desperately needs him to do. OLB Matt Judon, Ravens 25. Judon will turn 26 before the begins, but let's not let a mere technicality keep him off this list. The Ravens' underrated outside linebacker racked up 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 pass deflections last year, totaling 17 tackles for a loss, tied for 4th most league-wide. Even on plays where he wasn't credited with this stat, he made his presence felt. Now 35, Terrell Suggs can't play forever. Judon's got a prime chance to take over as the Ravens' premier edge rusher. OLB TJ Watt, Steelers 23. Watt posted a solid stat line his rookie campaign, netting 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and a pick, and he demonstrated a few of the qualities that we've come to expect from a player with that family name: strong fundamental technique, athleticism, and hustle. Trey Flowers 24, Patriots. Flowers doesn't boast prototypical pass rushing size 6'2", 265 pounds or athleticism. He ran a 4.93 40 at the combine, but he gets the job done with a combination of physicality, motor, and hand use, often utilizing his long arms to keep blockers off his body while pushing them into the pocket. Flowers had 6.5 sacks last year while racking up 59 total pressures, per PFF, good for 13th among all 4 to 3 ends. A future dynamic duo. Myles Garrett 22 and Emmanuel Ogbah 24. Browns' recent NFL history is littered with fearsome pass rush duos: the Broncos' Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, Colts' Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis, Ravens' Suggs and Elvis Dumervil, and Giants' Ossir Menyiora and Michael Strawn. This pair has a long way to go before they can be counted among the league's elite duos. They've only played in 5 games together so far, but both of Cleveland's edge rushers possess tremendous upside. In 11 games as a rookie, Garrett grabbed 7 sacks and a forced fumble, and he totaled 37 pressures on the year. He rushed both inside and out, showcasing the elite athleticism that helped make him the top overall pick in 2017. With more refinement of his technique, and a few more moves in his repertoire, Garrett could quickly develop into one of the league's most dominant pass rushes. But hell needs some help, and Ogbah could provide a contrasting style from the opposite side of the line. Whereas Garrett's pass rush plan draws heavily on speed and explosiveness, Ogbah's game is predicated on power and technique, traits HES utilized on his way to totaling 9.5 sacks in 26 games. The Atlantan triumvirate DT Grady Jarrett 25, DeTacarist McKinley 22, and DeVic Beasley 25. It doesn't get talked about enough that the Falcons' defense features three of the league's most promising young pass rushers. Grady Jarrett, the 25-year-old defensive tackle who notched 4 sacks and 39 pressures, 8th among DTs last year, holds things down in the middle, while 22-year-old defensive end DeTacarist McKinley, who recorded 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 34 pressures as a rookie, and 25-year-old Vic Beasley bring heat off the edge. Beasley's numbers dropped off last year due to a move to weak side linebacker, but he's set to move back to his more natural defensive end spot, where he recorded an NFL-best 15.5 sacks in 2016, giving the Falcons the chance to feature one of the most dominant pass-rushing groups in the NFL. The question mark's development is never linear, and there are dozens of talented pass rushers that just barely miss the cut in the categories above. Players like Buffalo's Shaq Lawson, San Francisco's Solomon Thomas, Dallas' Taco Charlton, New England's Deatrick Wise Jr., and Miami's Charles Harris all showed potential last year, but need to produce more consistently. So does Detroit's Anthony Zettel, who made a big jump as a sophomore, netting 6.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a team-high 43 pressures last, but faded as the year went on. Pittsburgh's Stephon Tuitt, who fell far short of his goal of a double-digit sack campaign last year, he finished with 3, could certainly make a case as one of the league's best young pass rushers by reaching a double-digit sack total in 2018. Jaguars defensive end Dante Fowler has, at times, flashed the type of potential that made him the 3rd overall pick in 2015, and he had 8 sacks for the team last year. But a series of off-field incidents over the last year and a half, plus a mysterious upper body injury that has kept him out of practices this summer, make his role with the team uncertain in 2018. And Cowboys defensive tackle David Irving is a talented interior rusher who notched 7 sacks in 2017, but for the second straight year, he'll begin the year on the suspended list, this time in violation of the league's substance abuse policy. The year prior he was suspended for violating the league's PED policy, and could face further discipline from his involvement in a recent domestic dispute.